Hey everyone, this is Quick Flicks. Today you're about to hear a short recap of the film Happiness to Everyone. Enjoy watching!
As a child, Furukawa often visited her grandparents.
So, granddaughter, is there happiness?
The confused girl didn't understand the question at the time. That night, Furukawa was awakened by a noise coming from the second floor. The little girl went to the bathroom and went up the stairs. Behind a half-open door, a man was sitting and wheezing. Since then, Furukawa has often been tormented by this nightmare. The student will have to visit the old people again, this time alone, because her mother is ill. Furukawa is a good girl. Just now, she helped an old woman cross the road. Furukawa came to visit relatives. The pensioner's home looks great. The yard is well kept. The house definitely doesn't need any repairs. And the pensioners themselves, it seems, haven't aged at all in the last 10 years. Grandfather learned that his granddaughter was studying to be a nurse and wished her to marry a surgeon.
What's there? Is there happiness?
There is happiness there.
Furukawa is afraid to approach the room where the terrible man hid. Now her door is locked. The pensioners have a large modern refrigerator in the kitchen. Pasta, meat for soup. Grandmother cooks it herself. If only Furukawa knew how she gets it.
Is the far room upstairs used somehow?
Yes, we have a tenant there.
What?
Just kidding. I'm kidding.
Grandmother offered Furukawa some pork when suddenly grandfather started grunting.
What's the joke? What's wrong with you?
This pig is saying how happy it is to be eaten.
Grandmother explained to her granddaughter that the pig was kept in a stall its entire life and stuffed with food, only to be killed later, and it became a roast on their table. Coming out of the bathroom, Furukawa saw her grandfather standing there, motionless.
What's wrong, Grandpa?
Oh, you've already washed yourself.
The pensioner stared at their granddaughter for a long time before finally saying good night. Furukawa suspects the old couple has dementia, which she told her mother. She and her father will be arriving a little later. Today, Furukawa met a local boy. The other kids constantly bully him. Koya stopped by the road. He and Furukawa were childhood friends. Koi is sullen, but also a very kind guy. He offered the boy a ride to school. The girl is studying to be a doctor in the capital, but Koi is stuck in the village. The whole household rests on his shoulders since his father has become completely decrepit. I would like to visit Koya, but Furukawa's family will most likely send him away. Grandpa really wasn't okay with his granddaughter hanging out with that guy. Today, Grandma stood motionless in the middle of the hallway, and that evening, the two of them started scaring the girl.
We never forget about you.
I wouldn't mind giving an eye for you.
Oh well.
The old men nearly gouged their own eyes out and then stared at the ceiling. Ugh, can't sleep. She took the key to open the door to that mysterious room, but suddenly, Grandma appeared from behind.
Grandma, what's wrong?
The woman ran up and started banging her whole body against the door. But in the morning, she acted as if nothing had happened. Mom and Dad were supposed to arrive today. Suddenly, a man fell out from around the corner. The poor guy's ears, mouth, and nose were sewn up. The pensioners calmly grabbed him by the legs and dragged him back into the room. There they tied the prisoner of the bed again.
Who's this? What's wrong with him?
Our happiness and prosperity rest on his shoulders.
The man began to twitch and try to free himself. For some reason, the granddaughter refused to help the old people, but she'll get used to it. Furukawa ran down the road as long as she could. Kuya and his father picked her up in their car. Their house looks much poorer, and Kuya's father is indeed very decrepit, although he's clearly younger than her sprightly grandparents. The man boasted about the paintings his son paints. Does Kuya really doubt he'll ever succeed?
I believe in fate, to be honest. Happiness knocks on the door.
The man quickly tired and lay down for a nap. Furukawa finally told him something she'd seen that day. the boy took a toolbox and headed for his friend's house. She could always rely on him. The old people were busy at the time. The grandmother was feeling very nauseous. It seemed that the gray-haired woman had become pregnant again. The young people were hiding from the pensioners throughout the house. Finally, they broke into that room and found the tortured prisoner. The first thing they did was untie the man. Then, Furukawa began cutting the strings from his eyes. The man looked terrified. And then, Furukawa saw a new batch of misa paste on the floor. The exhausted prisoner was led to the exit.
They're gathered far away. They're gathered far away.
"This can't be done," Koya declared. "You can't do that." The man had gone crazy during his captivity. Once free, he started screaming and laughing, and then slowly walked down the road. The rest of the family was already approaching the house. A pale man was trudging along the road. Behind him were Koe and Furukawa, and then the old people. Father saw this scene and was dumbfounded. Suddenly, the man stopped and smiled. At that moment, one of the neighbors hit him at full speed.
Is this your property?
Ours?
He's not feeling well anymore.
You seem to have caught a cold,
A
right?
little fever, almost recovered.
Dad,
What? Stop! Didn't you know?
The neighbor drove on about his business, and Grandpa and Dad rolled the man they'd hit off the road. After that, Dad simply burned the useless body.
Daughter, there's not enough happiness for everyone anyway. Mom, what are you talking about? This is some kind of nightmare.
Koi is trying to fight this order, but the father makes fun of the boy. His family is barely making ends meet. "This is some kind of nonsense," Furukawa keeps repeating, but the family thinks they're doing everything right. They're having chicken for dinner, and the little brother has a ton of friends at school. He's a good student, and he's also an athlete.
Shut up, all of you crazy lunatics. You just burned a man.
What else are you going to blurt out?
Do you think it was a man?
Who?
The family needs to find a replacement quickly. First, they'll bleed. Then, convulsions and uncontrollable hunting. After that, death. Since Furukawa started all this, she has to find a new carcass. And there's nothing wrong with that. This is how people live all over the world. This is reality. It's time for the girl to grow up. Furukawa realized that almost every house had a room like this with a prisoner from whom the family sucks all the juices. A friend stopped in a car nearby and started laughing at the naive fool who was stuck in childhood. She believes in Santa Claus. At the remains of the carcass, an old woman asked not to come to them. They are completely frail. Such a cutie could lure someone even in the city.
A child like that in the family is, of course, a burden. You used to having your head in the clouds, right? Afraid to accept the world as it is.
Grandma told me that in their family, there was already one such defective sister of her dad. The aunt's face was even scratched in a group photo. Having learned the terrible truth, the woman ran away from home. Meanwhile, the grandmother's ears were bleeding. Furukawa went in search of her aunt. She managed to find out that a strange woman lives in the forest. Perhaps it was she. The girl had to go deep into the forest to find the right house. Her aunt really does live in this shack, and she lives extremely poorly. And the woman has gone crazy. She believes that everything around her is made up of ones and zeros, and people are actually inside the game. Furukawa was quite shocked by such revelations, but she didn't go home right away. The aunt decided to show her niece how to chop wood properly and began to crawl towards her little by little. During another swing, the aunt exposed her head, and Furukawa, without meaning to, killed a man. The shocked girl ran into the house and saw a human mummy hanging there. Even the crazy aunt lived at someone else's expense for a while. Furukawa fell asleep in the forest in the rain and had another nightmare. How her family put on a musical number featuring mascara. When Furukawa woke up in the morning, her eye was already bleeding. The girl no longer wants to talk to Koya because he knew and didn't say anything. Everything has gone wrong in the family. The The younger brother doesn't listen and is glued to the PlayStation, and the soup has become completely lean. The miso supplies are running low. They haven't been available for so long, they'll stretch it out. Suddenly, the youngest screamed, all red. His face was flooded with blood.
And here's the first stage. How quickly he played out. We need a replacement, Mom reminded. There's a little time left. Look at Grandma's belly, too. Furukawa went into town again. She saw a group of school bullies. A boy she knew had become just like them. He himself began to bully a younger student. The boy admitted that he had started living by the rules of his bullies. He wouldn't have beaten them anyway, especially since adults have the same problems, either with us or against us. Like, he's found his happiness. Well, yes, if you compare it to what he had before. As he left, the boy declared that he was ready to do anything to keep his life like this. Meanwhile, the family invited a pensioner to visit. They are doing everything they can to care for the future carcass, but Furukawa ruined everything again and sent the man away. And yet, her little brother is already convulsing. "My dear, time is running out," her grandmother reminded Furukawa. With that, she'd actually figured it all out as a child, but she turned a blind eye as if nothing scary existed in this life. The girl freaked out and decided to sacrifice herself rather than hurt others. Furukawa would try to stitch her own eye shut, but she could only manage one stitch. "I can't. It hurts. I can't, and I don't want to." Her family lost their desire. That's how hard adult life is. A tearful Furukawa came to Koa. His father had died that day. The boy despaired. He would never see happiness again. But Furukawa could find that very happiness if he returned to his family. The girl began convulsing. "Someone has broken this world," the student lamented. Koa decided to sacrifice himself for the girl he loved and began strangling himself with her hands. Meanwhile, her grandmother's water broke, and she began giving birth with the support of her relatives. At first, Furukawa resisted, but then she grabbed Koi's throat and held on until he passed out. Grandma gave birth to a new family member, and Furukawa finally accepted the terrible rules of this life. She found a new carcass and personally stitched up its mouth, eyes, and ears. Furukawa returned to Tokyo and met a promising young surgeon. She no longer helps old ladies cross the street. Let others do that now. Today, Furukawa will meet the groom's parents. They probably have their own carcass at home, too. Keep it up. You look happy. Of course, happiness exists.